Yeah, this is right.
6:16. Okay. Meeting is. Oh, good. Okay. So we'll call it to order at 6:16. And while we're going on, I will write down everybody who's here. Everybody's a member. It's not a, except Kelly, who is a member of the public, but maybe are you thinking about being a radio DJ too?
He's not thinking about it. He's,
oh, you
interviewed
okay.
The second interview, his application that accepted. He starts his own show next Monday at 8 o'clock, and I'll be explaining the training process.
Okay, you'll come in a second. So we're all one happy band. I just wanted to get that public comment if there's anybody from the public that part of the group. We're the one happy band, and Damien, being a great actor, should be reciting from Henry V. They're not very good. We brave band that are going into Agincourt with 7-1 odds against us. You probably know this.
Sweet few.
Okay, so you'll be happy here. That's all I talk about. We get educated people coming in here.
Yes, they last.
Okay, well, so Kelly, I'll let you finish chewing, and then you'll start with the old business and talk about Strawberry Festival. What's happened with that?
Well, the Strawberry Festival was very successful for anybody who wasn't here. We had everything and more that they've had in the past. We had quite a few vendors. I guess all but one said that they would come back again, and so I was pleased about that. And one said that they had done better than ever before in any other venues, so I was pleased to hear that. They all made money. It was wonderful. It was great. I talked to one of the senior sisters today, and he was here and said he had a wonderful time, and he was surprised at how many people were here, and what else can I tell you? It was successful.
Yeah, which sister? Because I've got a letter here that I'm going to have to respond to, but I'd love to quote some sisters.
No, his name is Sister Lean Against Me.
Lean Against Me.
I know Miss Dragon. I don't know his real name.
Oh, he's the one that wrote the letter.
Oh, and he was here at this festival?
Yes, he was here at the festival.
So he knows super rich.
A question about the vendors. Do they pay anything to be here?
They paid either $10 or they gave a donation for the raffle, which I didn't use all of them, so quite a few of them are going to be used at the next event, which is the fundraiser, the Sisters Bingo fundraiser, next month.
Other festivals, they pay quite a lot to be on site.
We had a lot going against us, really.
Well, that's okay.
What I heard in the
festival made something.
We made a lot of money, and with given the circumstances, our priority was more of a community building kind of event. That was our priority, and everybody was happy.
I mean, you had like 20 or 20, how many vendors?
Quite a few, and something like that, well, more than that, and then I had some nonprofits here as well. And then I also had a gal who made balloon animals, and so that was kind of neat. And another guy who was doing the juggling sticks all around, and at the end it was really fun because a couple of them were doing all kinds of tricks with hula hoops to the Bugs music, and so definitely would like to have them back for sure. Maybe our next event. It was amazing to watch them.
You did a marvelous job.
Thank you.
Yeah. Steve.
I think you did Kelly a hand.
DJ Pyro has just walked in the room. Sorry. So Stephen has a question.
several cars parked right among the vendors. And Suki had a car that had a dead battery or something. It was parked right in front of somebody who no one could see unless they walked so they around Suki's vehicle and looked to see who was there.
Well,
I don't think that's necessarily fair.
no, well, it was, something that I had to deal with all day long, because, well, I had a lot of other things.
I know you
But-
have a lot to deal with, but what about that?
But, well, a lot of the cars that were coming in and out, I was manning the front quite a bit, and so were other people, and I told them, you can only allow the art vendors to come in, and you can only allow the musicians to come in, and after we got started. And there were other people trying to come in, we were stopping them, they were coming in, turning around, and going out, because they had already gotten onto the bridge. That's something that, like, next year, I'd like to have, like, some bright, you know, it's vendor, only kind of, you know, thing, and then have a big sign that says vendors only can come in,
But aside from that,
and musicians.
aside from that, if a vendor parks her vehicle right in front of some other vendor you can't see, you should do something about it.
Well, I wasn't aware of that. What I saw was a lot of people coming in and out throughout the day, some inappropriate, but I told them to leave. The ones that were appropriate, they were. They had to unpack and pack, and there were vendors that were leaving because they had other events to go to, so they were.
Okay, Stephen, whose attention did you bring it to?
I talked to Don about it.
And
Who else did I talk
that's
to?
where I was going to jump.
Okay, yeah, go
I
ahead.
talked to several
And
other people about it.
We talked to, we mentioned it to a number of people. I think I asked you too, Kelly, to go in there and tell her that she needed to move her vehicle. When, second I turned around and took a look at it, the hood was up and the battery charger was on it. Now, I'm certain the battery needed charging, but there was, at that point, it seemed almost nothing we could do short of grabbing the vehicle and pushing it out. And at my age, I just simply never think about pushing SUVs across the road.
Right, I'm just wondering.
That was the dilemma, but Kelly was, you know, in defense of Kelly in this, you know, for the best part of the day, the parking worked out really well. Musicians would show up, they would upload their material, and, you know, I would tell them they had to move on. You know, as soon as they got everything unloaded, they all understood that. But, you know, there would be one or two individuals who might get in the way regardless. You know, but next year now, the opportunity for channeling the vehicles and dealing with the problem might very well be considered. And should be.
I'd like to suggest that there's an after Strawberry Fest meeting with the volunteers and anybody else who'd want to attend, that they have something to contribute to that committee so that they can fine tune their activities for the next event. So because so we don't spend all the time here right now on the Strawberry Fest.
Thank you, Meg.
Did you have
That was my comment too, is that you need to have an after meeting, because that's where you look at what worked, what didn't work. If it didn't work, how can we improve it? And what do we need? We need more people here, you know, so you can get a whole picture of it, so when you go to do it the next time, you've got something to work with. And this is my other suggestion, for each thing that you have, there should be written out some way what that person's required to do or what needs to be done. So that makes it easier on the people taking over, especially when you have people who are volunteers. They really don't know what to do, even though you sort of explain it and then go, because you have to explain it fast. It's really nice to say, okay, this is what you have to do, and this is what you need, and this is what you can do. So therefore, they've got something in front of them to know what to do. And then it sort of takes some responsibility off of you, and then you're not all running to you to say, what do I do, what do I do, what do I do?
Yeah, well, we'll talk more in our,
But at that meeting, you can do that.
follow-up meeting. And Peter, you want to talk about the Sisters Bingo?
Well, wait a minute. Well, I'll do a little segue for you, because I wanted to respond to the why did we do vendors this year, that you brought up about, you know, because we made money before, and we had to do it. But this is a letter from the Sisters Bingo group, which just got passed on to me, but I noticed it's dated on March 19th. So, because I be in operation in the near future. The request for a bingo game was for specific purposes of funding a replacement electric panel. The request was made by Robert Foyer. We would like to have some clarification regarding the continuation of your operations and the need stated in the application. So
I responded to that email directly.
okay, good.
I'm assured him that everything was exactly as it should be, and when the time was that we got around to that point, to be talking about it, we kind of feel for it.
But it's this kind of feedback from the community that we were trying to deal with, which is why we made a specific intent to invite the community in.
I wasn't knocking having the vendors here. I'm always looking at the bottom line. How does this benefit our station if it's a fundraiser for the station? That's what I'm looking at. That's my question.
Okay. Well, and we were forgiving some of the income in order to get short range for a long range goal. Short range money for a long range goal. Okay, so now we'll continue with the other events.
Okay, so the Sisters Bingo, that next fundraiser is going to be on July 13th at the Vets. And what we need are 4 volunteers that can set up, and these have to be people that can lift and move tables and chairs, and we need 4 volunteers for tear down. He said it'd be nice if it was the same 4 people, but it could be 8 people. It's just easier if it's the same 4. And
Did you give us a time?
you know, well, we have to be at the Vets at 4 p.m. to start setting up, and we start tearing down at 9:30 p.m. and we'll get out of there no later than 11 p.m. I have to fill out a contract, so I'll work on that. We need a presenter who will speak for 5 minutes saying who we are and what we use our fundraising money for. We need to give them raffle prizes, and we can have a silent auction if we want. There were many silent auction prizes at the Strawberry Festival. I have a few that nobody bid on, and we can use those, I think, but I have to talk to Haley about that. And the food that's going to be there is nachos, hot dogs, and pizza. The website is rrsisters.org. They have 8 tables available for those who want to RSVP and have 10 people at one table. He said those go quickly. And I was told that these always are a sellout by somebody else. He told me, and he is the guy that organizes these every month. He said they do not. So he said promotion is a good thing. And the more you promote it, it's really up to us. He said the more enthusiasm that we have around this, the better, the more successful it will be.
And the station gets some financial benefit from.
It should be about $2 grand, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, they take in a lot of money. Yeah. And have you ever been to the bingo?
No, I've heard about it though.
I did a video. I mean, it's just like, it's legendary. Yeah.
How many people have been to the Sisters Bingo before?
I remember my first
Right.
one.
Suki? Oh, this would be this one.
No, the last one was
The last
That's what
What day of the week is that?
it's a Saturday.
It's on Saturday.
I can be on the setup.
And that seems like a long stretch from 4 to 11 for people on the setup team. Yeah, so you could have people that are some.
I'll be there to help set up, Kelly.
Set up,
Okay?
set up.
We're going to help set up.
Thank you. And yeah, well, then they can maybe play bingo if they like, or, you know,
Well, yeah.
make an evening of it.
Yeah.
You have to play bingo, you have to pick by a seat.
I think it's $1 a card.
No.
No. It's $20.
15 for one and 20 for two.
But that's plenty enough to be busy.
Yeah.
It really is. And then the prices, you go all the way up to what, $200 now, but they go higher than $250 now.
Yeah.
20 for one, is that like one card for each
And
game?
then there's
all
50,
night,
there's
or-
yeah, all night long. Yes, and we get to play all night long, yeah. But it's you get a little stack of, it's all, you know, the sheet and 10 long.
It's about 8 games.
And typically, when KGGV has done it before, do they book a table for KGGV?
I have no idea.
Actually, we did all sit together, but I think it was because we were there to set up. We just claimed the table and put our
Okay.
jackets on it and stuff.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. We did that.
You just, yeah.
When what I remember is being standing around because I was doing video for it, you know.
Well, it's now at the Veterans Hall, and I think that's when
Oh.
they're not selling out, because there's a lot more room. You can get 200 people in there.
Right.
You can get up to 250 people in there.
Yep.
sitting down. So that's why, they're getting a lot of people, right? That's why they're saying they're not selling out, is because they have more seats now.
Right.
And so that's at the Vets Hall, so that makes a big
That
difference.
means there's a chance.
And where was
You
it?
can make more money the more people you get there.
We have really, really, I guess, advertised this. I also, advertised, speaking of advertisement, we were, some of us KGGVers, and we had help too from Megan and Kit. We walked in both of the parades that were recently, the Pride Parade and the Stumptown one, and we won second place for the Stumptown Parade. Second place for the Stumptown Parade.
What do we do?
We were in it, and I guess we were under the, what, the nonprofit category.
Probably the only nonprofit to walk or something like that.
No, it had to be at least two. I don't think we're so we have Roy and Keith, and anybody else want to help with bingo? And I also need a presenter too, so.
We'll also be help with the bingo if you need for whatever purposes.
Along with bingo.
The lifting is after this last weekend.
Do you want to be the presenter, Suki?
Certainly.
Okay. And then I also need people to help, Amber and I did a tremendous amount of gathering up of raffle prizes, so it would be nice to have help from people, folks.
I'll help with that.
Thank you very much.
And then you have a raffle at Sisters Bingo.
Yeah, yes, and we also can have a silent auction. I had gone years ago and I never did that before, so I was happy to hear that.
That's great.
And, yeah, and then, and then the prizes they have, this table. The sisters give out 3 prizes, like a grand prize and a senior's prize and a virgin prize. So, anyhow, so they buy all
Free
that.
shit.
Huh?
Free shit.
Sorry?
Free shit, lady. I don't call it that, they call it. It took me a long time, I was going to say free stuff.
Oh, yes, when you bang on the table and you stomp your feet, yeah. Yeah, that's what it is.
I have a question, as far as raffle prizes. Does anybody know about the legality if we put as a raffle prize, kind of like an honorary underwriter, where they get mentioned, like an underwriter would get mentioned a couple of times?
Why is it about that?
I think.
If the underwriters donate the product now?
Well, underwriters normally would pay to be
Donation in
mentioned as
Yeah.
an underwriter. If we made the underwriter mention a raffle prize for somebody.
What you call it is, you give them an underwritership of a show.
Right,
As a
right,
raffle.
an honorary underwritership. And then they would
And it
get
just, the
promotional
cost
mention.
would be zero.
Right.
They'd be the sponsor of that show.
Right, exactly.
It would have a numerical value to it that we put into the books.
Right.
Good idea.
Just keep in mind that the promotional, that whatever pitch is given should be in keeping with whatever we put on air.
Right, because that's whatever the normal procedure for an underwriter would be.
So,
Sure.
The listener would just seem like people had bought
Right, exactly.
the underwritership.
Yeah, no, that's not.
That'd be good. That's
Okay,
something.
that's an excellent idea. I'll type something up.
And it should be, say, for how long, for how many.
If you want one.
Yeah.
It's very smart.
Stephen, go ahead.
As far as the raffles go, everyone that buys the $20 two-card ticket gets 5 free raffle tickets. People can get extra raffle tickets by buying them for $1 each. If you bring in free shit, which is an unopened packaged thing that they can put in among the other raffle prizes, you get additional tickets.
So like mystery
I have never
prize.
seen of any raffle that's apart from the ones that are intermittent and all between bingo games, in which they take several of the items from the raffle table and stick them in the bag and then raffle there's an item that's very nice work of art or something that people really want, then they can stand up and say, I'll give you $20 for that, or 30 or 50. And that's how it works, but they don't have a raffle afterward. People can't wait to get out of there. It's hot and they've been there for 3 hours.
And it's loud.
Away.
It's
So,
So when we give our questions, I mean, if we give raffle prizes, then they go with all the other raffle prizes that are.
That's how it usually is.
Do they still just provide raffle prizes, or are the only raffle prizes will be the ones that we give?
Everybody wants to.
they provide several of the raffle prizes, but a lot of people who come to bingo also get raffle
Oh, yeah.
prizes, and it goes into the big pot.
Okay, so what we bring would just go into the pot.
Unless you
So we get all the money.
ahead of time and tell them that you want to a little bit, you can always request.
No, but I just want to know how to go.
Yeah, that's how.
So it just all goes into the one, and there's not like separate ones.
Right, they have a table and they're all stacked on the table.
They just like it if the organization donates a few things to it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I meant.
Yeah, well, when I went, they had baskets, it's like Easter time, and they had like Easter baskets.
Well, then, yeah.
Full of stuff, you
They
know.
have
That's
these.
the themes, that's why they theme their,
The theme this time is Doctor Who with the, the British telephone booth thing. I should have brought their posters, they had their posters already.
Argus.
Our name on it.
They have a
The
costume
TARDIS,
contest.
yes, the TARDIS, huh?
They have a costume contest.
So that's what the theme is for, people will dress up
Yeah,
in
And
sci-fi.
aside from that, they have songs they sing that have to do with the theme.
It's a really
There
great
is
looking.
things to go, follow.
More than, better than that.
Very good.
To see 100 octogenarians with Q-tips banging and screaming,
So you'll print out the flyers, maybe we can put them in the radio station. People can
Yeah.
pick them up.
Yeah.
I have them at the Strawberry Festival.
I want to take, Pam is not here, but I do have financial report.
Oh, okay, when we get to that. Right, okay, so more, any events?
Oh, events, yeah. So, let's see, also, I've been brainstorming about this, and I think it would be really fun to have a harvest festival in the autumn time. And, I have all kinds of ideas, one's having art again, art vendors, and, maybe having a little petting zoo and some scarecrows and some pumpkins. We could have like a jack-o'-lantern contest and have the children do smart poetry and have them involved. And school be in full swing. We didn't have very much involvement from the schools, unfortunately, because it was such late notice. But now we're going to have plenty of time to plan this and get stuff.
How about you, Ralph?
That'd be fun.
The Truce did one 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
It wasn't the church and radio station together.
I don't know if the radio station was involved in. Was it?
they may remember, obviously nobody does, so.
I remember,
Radio station was.
Kelly, when you pick a date, be sure you check with the chamber, because they usually have almost all the things that are happening, at least in Guerneville, on the chamber's calendar, and then you can get on the calendar too. And also check with the school, because they do a Halloween carnival, which is a weekend usually before Halloween, and you won't want to do it that time. And then one of our problems this time, even though we did get some families, because Suki had a lot of families that she had, the kids danced with West family, they had, the one out in the park was very oriented to kids, because they had a circus going on, and they had a lot of stuff going on out there for kids. My daughter came here, and then she went there, and so she was telling me some things they were doing out there.
Which
So that
park
was
were you talking about?
the one that was Armstrong, on that day. It was very, big. So we want to look at that kind of stuff when we pick a day.
Yeah, I didn't get, not even half of the people show up because school was out.
Yeah, it's pulled out too, but.
Yeah.
But you don't want to do it on days they're doing a big event over there either.
Right, thank you. And I'd like to include the kids and their folks and siblings and maybe a parade prior to that. And when we can perhaps advertise and have flyers once again. Next year, I think it would be great if we had the children to dress like little strawberry shortcake girls and march and hand out flyers or candy, or just to be there and participating. mean.
For what?
For the Strawberry Festival, I was thinking, you know, have the, and have the boys wear crowns or, I don't know, just to,
We did a
wanna get
little
more-
parade one year.
I want to get more
Yeah, I remember
children.
that.
We could do that too. I want to get more children and more families
And you have
involved.
to have things that will attract it.
And
That's what you need.
down in Monteville, I've been involved with an Easter egg hunt type group where we co-hosted with the school, with Eric's Monteville School, here at Guerneville School. And you get the PTA involved.
And they do,
A bake
they
sale.
do the big Halloween carnival.
Okay.
They do the big Halloween carnival, they will not have the people, they luckily have enough people to do it. And I did it for 30 years over there. And it usually takes
How
everybody.
about closer to Thanksgiving, it's a harvest thing, get it away from Halloween.
Yeah, and we also have a give back
Well, I think you
Tuesday
have to be careful,
in December.
Yeah,
But that's our Christmas party.
you have to be careful once you get into November that you're going to get rain.
Yeah.
Weather.
Rain.
Oh, yeah.
And usually, you know, in a normal year, it'll rain the last week in October.
That's right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I've read it a lot. That's
Well,
why it goes inside.
That's why often raining in Halloween.
Well, no, that's why they, over the school, they do it in the big Jensen Hall, the
Yeah.
cafeteria
So
gymnasium.
then the other direction, September.
Well, probably around
Well, that's
Christmas.
true. September.
Or if you go like Christmas, we usually do with the Chamber of Commerce, the tree lighting ceremony in the plaza.
Yeah.
And maybe you want to be involved on that because there's Christmas carolers, I think that's Sonia's group. And then we dance.
But there's not much to make money on.
Not true.
Every
I
time
guess.
the beat to make.
And it is hit or miss, you know.
Well, December 10th, we have our Give Back Tuesday at Rainbow, so.
Oh, that's a good time. That's great.
Yeah. So that's another thing.
But now that you're getting into December, you're resurrecting the idea of the variety show, which used to
Yeah,
be after the...
I would love to see that resurrected. I would love that. We're just beginning.
You want to do that?
I'd be willing to take it on. It's something that I loved. I did it one year with Noel, and we did a great job. It was actually timely and everything.
Kelly, did you hear what you were saying?
Pardon?
I didn't hear what you were saying.
River Home Companion. I said if you wanted to resurrect that, I'd be willing to take it on. One year Noel and I did it, and it was, I felt the best year.
Oh, really? Yeah.
It was everything, I mean, it was on time and everything was organized, and that, thanks to me, and then we had some wonderful material as well. And
Yeah, that's true.
And that's in the Betts Hall or was it in the Odd?
it was an Oddfellows.
Oddfellows.
There's quite a few people, you know, that are
Well,
involved
sounds
in
good to
music
me.
that
I'm for it.
The one comment I'll make that wraps some of this together, and then I want to introduce the new group, have you people introduce themselves to that are new here, is that it's very nice that we're talking about the next year and doing it after a successful event. I'm just pleased to hear that. I mean, but 2 meetings ago, the general meetings, and then be in the hell here. So let's start with DJ Pyro. Why don't you get up and tell us who you are and what your program is?
My name's Aaron Stevens from DJ Pyro, and I'm this and that show. My name's Aaron Stevens, and then AKA DJ Pyro. And I do the this and that show. I play this and that and everywhere in between. And I can play country or heavy metal, it just depends. And I try to pick up on old music that nobody's ever heard before, like from the 80s and the 90s. It's really good.
That's old.
Shit, that was overlooked, you know. Which can be proven to be very difficult sometimes, but, you know. I play between 8 and 10 on Saturdays. I'd actually like to get about a 4-hour shift if I could, because after 2 hours I'm just starting to get warmed up, and then it's time to go. And the Green Baron comes in, right after me, and
Sometimes he's late,
I picked him up on the side of the road before. Hey, you're supposed to make the station. He's headed towards the station, but he's walking, So, and I'll hang out with him, until the shift's over. But I really enjoy it. He's a really good guy. I like
Yeah,
his
that's a
walk from
nice, that's a good blend though, the two of you coming together in that long.
8 to 10 at night.
Yeah.
And then he comes in after.
Is there
Yeah,
anything?
yeah.
Before you, who's
No, I don't think there's anybody before me.
6 to 8?
No, not right now. You can look at the schedule and
Was it okay if I had the 6 to 10? Is that all right?
we'll have to go, that's a programming committee decision.
Okay.
We've got
set a stage for
Yeah, well,
Okay, then the other new person here, you can go, tell us who you are.
Well, I'm Kelly, the singer. Let's see, my name's Keller Smith. I'm 59 years old. I'm old. And let's see, I've done a lot of singing and computer stuff. And that's my main two things that I do. Worked for County Sonoma for about 8 years till they early retired me from stress. And I know Bill Mitchell. That's how I met all you guys. And Bill Mitchell and I have a lot of similar views. So we were at the bus stop and I said, you should do a radio show. And I'm like, Bill, how can I do that? He goes, I have a radio show. And I go, no. So he brought me over here and two shows that I sat on. I said, oh, yours. First time I ever met him at the radio. I sat on his show.
It's a frightening experience.
I was first I was amazed how compact everything is. It sounds a lot bigger.
Nice way to say it.
So I thought, well, I think I might be able to do this. So he said, well, what kind of show do you want to do? I love science fiction. I just started recently collecting conspiracy DVDs. That can go all over the place, right? So I'm going to blend science fiction that I love with this new thing, this conspiracy stuff. I'm going to show up, because I found similarities and patterns between the two. I know you all know that they use media to manipulate it, so it's already kind of understood. But the facets of it that I found are almost childlike. And I think I can present my show like a little kid playing with crayons. And I think that's a really cool way to present all this crazy conspiracy stuff that's going on nowadays.
This show will be Mondays at 8.
Mondays next Monday.
Yeah. You want to go around the table? So those, Suki?
Suki, I'm Suki. I do the voice of youth on Tuesdays from 7 to 8. And I should mention, because I was reading your letter, that even though we'll be on vacation,
Well,
it's not a...
It's an approved vacation.
And Mark Gregory has been ever so nice to volunteer to take the boys over the summer, and we're going to kind of work on that. We're working on some other stuff, so that may or may not happen. I'll let you know. But I've been doing the Voice of Youth since the station started, and that show has evolved, and that's about it. I don't know. Since it started, all these years?
After all these years coming, go ahead.
What are Hey, I'm Kelly, and my show is the Community Calendar, and so if anybody has anything for me to talk about on the air in terms of what is going on in the community, I would love to hear from you. Either you drop take stuff to the radio station or send me, I have business cards, I'll go get them. And so that's basically that's what I do. I put out all the different community events.
And you're the chair of the events board.
Yeah, and I'm now the event coordinator, yes.
Okay, and I'm Peter Enders. I have a 1 hour a month show on books that I had for years and years. And recently I've started filling in on Saturday mornings if I can be here. Actually fun. Just filling in with pre-recorded stuff. Actually, on Saturday mornings I'm doing some Western stuff that always used to be popular. And then on Wednesday mornings I'm trying to do a morning show, which I'm going to use actually to interview people and record promos. So in the background I'm just going to have the mix playing old promos and interviews with DJs. I think last Wednesday or the Wednesday before, I played Mark's, a bunch of them.
Call me old.
Oh, you're 70 or 80.
So, okay, so Stephen.
My name's Stephen Gross. I am the conductor and the engineer on the mystery train. August will be 7 years driving the train.
Yeah.
I'm on from 6 to 8 on Wednesday evenings. I really enjoy my show. And if you'd like to know what kind of music I play, tune in.
I'm Mark Gregory, and I've been doing my shows since '06, for 7 years now. And I do, on Tuesdays at noon, I do Calliope Keyboard Classics, which is piano and organ and harpsichord music. And Thursdays from noon to 2, I do the Classical Bridge, mostly orchestral classical music. And then Saturdays at 1 o'clock, I do local scene, and that's an opera program.
They're all wonderful. I'm Kim Mariah, and I'm currently the moderator of the church. I was one of the founders of this radio station, and I care very much for it. And I'm also tonight here representing the financial person who's not here because she's ill.
I'm Megan Wolf. I have Kaleidoscape on Sunday mornings from 7 to 9. I've been intimately involved in the radio station. I did a video about the beginning of the radio station, from the broom closet to the studio. So I've been here since the beginning. I didn't have a show until a few years later when I was available to do so.
Which we'd like to see that video again.
I know. In fact, the reason why we were a little late getting here today was because we had that video in the computer, but we were trying to figure out how to extract it and how it worked and everything like that. So we had to do it and come to me and take care of it later. Because what I'd also like to do eventually is add the clips that I took from the Strawberry Fest.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I got some great shots, so.
Weird shots.
Great shots.
Oh, great shots.
Great shots.
Okay, I'm Blackstone, Keith Blackstone, and I have the Friday Fun House. It's a blend of different styles of music. And whatever mood I happen to be in that Friday.
Great
What time is it?
10 to midnight, although possibly considering changing depending on what's opening up right now. To talk about programming committee.
You know?
I'm Janelle Parr, and I have a show with Dawn. We have Off the Hook on Sundays, and it is music, variety. We interview people. We have an interview coming up this next week with Leslie Warren, a woman who's going to tell you how to get through the health system and not die in this process. And she's writing a book, and she also has given lectures at Sonoma State. And last week, not last week, not this last Sunday, the week before, we had Dr. Carl Coombs come on and talk about the lens that already works with the Russian River counselors, and he was really good. And we also do all kinds of music. We do a health segment during the show about different kinds of things that we think are important for people need to know about keeping health together. And that's about it.
Is that 2 hours?
No.
Oh, what time is it?
On Sundays from 7 to 8.
It's sweet.
I'm Don Kennedy, and we were all of that. And I've also got a show, the evening show, Friday, 5 to 6. And I'm the current program committee chair.
And that segues into the program committee report.
Program committee report. Well, the program committee has been in cruise control, as we all know, for a few months now. And I'll be able to give you a complete report at our next meeting after I go over the information that I have behind me. Although there may be nothing there, I don't know until I go through it. We do have a lot of positive energy coming in. We have Aaron here, we have Kelly, and another individual coming on who will start his show Wednesday. That's Kyle O'Connor, who will do his international political show. And he's coming on board with us. The training that is now, that at least that I'm promoting and putting forward, and anyhow, from anyone else is casual, and we're in no hurry as far as turning out to, as long as the individual, like Kelly, at the end result is professional and professional. And that's about where we stand. A lot of good things coming on, and I see a real positive program committee. My recommendations for Kelly, one would be as my recommendations for a committee, because you're going to have to be on it, is I'd like to position you, Kelly, put him on your committee, your events committee. But that's just my recommendation. Be up to everybody else to choose on that. And Kyle, he's going to come on the program committee. His skills are an ex-Air Force officer. We know that those kind of skills are very detail-oriented and organizational, so we might very well fit somewhere else. Recommendations always requested. That's where we stand. I'll have more information for you on new people after I peruse all this information.
John, who's the next program committee?
Well, I've left that really, like I said, I put it on cruise control. Everybody here that's on the program committee is here. You, me, Peter, Kelly, you're on, and Rick and Donna aren't, but there are our community volunteers, and I'll contact them directly, but it's really open-ended as to when we should meet and where we should meet.
So you're not,
But we want to have a published
so you're not going to meet on the second Mondays anymore, is that what you're saying?
I have, it is again,
It could be, but
whatever we all, whatever we decide would be a good time, to set the meetings in and then lock it into,
You need to let us,
huh?
you need to let us.
Well, again, we need to talk to
And you
you,
guys
to
pick
you,
a date?
Peter, and to you.
yeah, we have to book it. We have to book the room and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well.
So who picks the date?
Yeah, so I'll put that together and then get the information to you, Peter, so you can get it out to the rest.
Can I mention something about streaming? It seems to be off the line.
It could be off the agenda.
Okay.
We'll get to that. It's
Yeah.
just two more items away.
Okay.
So, any other questions on the program?
Just like I said, if I'm interested in another slot, how do I apply? Do I put something in your mailbox?
Just email me and our schedule is pretty much right here. And if there's something in there that appeals to you, it isn't filled.
I'll put
Jump
it
on.
What I did at the Strawberry Festival was I took that schedule and I created blank lines for all the empty slots.
Yeah.
And so I've got the form for that, and I'll host it in the studio. So people can look at that.
So this is just a matter you pick a slot.
Yeah, okay.
I have a question. John?
Yep.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jim. I just want to make a suggestion that we maybe send an email out to all the current DJs, letting them know that this is a good time if they were ever thinking about changing their time slot or expanding their time slot, that right now, before we fill up the schedule again, that this would be the time.
I agree. Should that kind of protocol just run through to the station manager though? Should I, or do you want me to speak directly to the?
Yeah, send it to me. I'll send it. Until we have a volunteer
And then my question is the procedure in applying for a show that they apply online and?
No.
Oh, so.
Although I would very much like to see that. I'm only going to be around for 3 months, but I'd very much like to see online applications and move through email faster.
The cold, cruel reality is that we're not very good at doing online things. We don't have an interactive website. We don't have streaming running. It was online for a brief time, and it kept falling over. It's like using 869-1131 as a contact phone. It's a terrible thing to use as a contact phone because, if somebody's off the air, he's going to either ignore it and fill up mailboxes, or he's going to pick and say, we're online now, and hang up.
We've heard that many times before.
Yeah, so our businesses, so I like it much better if people just drop by the studio or drop us a member if they know them. Presumably, if they
Okay, yeah, and then
know
so,
somebody that Don, you can
And the
drop.
procedure is that we would go over these applications
want to me, and I'll make sure that, we take it from there. But if you do channel someone to us, and I recommend all of us to be more proactive in this line, we all have friends that might very well wish to be on the radio, really pursued and asked and developing shows.
But then do we invite them to the programming
yeah,
committee?
any way you want to bring them to us. They're going to get a warm welcome, and it's going to be very casual and very easy. But you would mentor them through all the way. You bring somebody in.
Oh, you're saying like in a way you're advocating for something?
Yeah, you're advocating and it's kind of sponsoring.
Yeah, if your schedule, don't let that stop you though from bringing someone in. If your schedule is tight and you're doing other things, then someone else will pick it up and do the training.
Okay.
But if you bring someone in, they're generally someone you know and they trust you, and so certainly the first few go-arounds, waltz them in until they feel comfortable, and then go from there.
And there's plenty of applications in the studio, and I have a big stack that I always carry around.
And the slots are in here, the open vacant slots?
And that's the current schedule, which changes day to day, so you have to know.
I would like to see a cooking show again. I'm talking to several people in the community, but nobody seems to want to commit to an hour every week.
It's
So-
always been a popular thing.
I know,
That's a great thing
I
to
have
do.
several friends, so if anybody knows of anybody else who might want to do it, and then maybe work with other people, rather than they can do it like once a month, and there'd be a slot for the cooking show, and it could be different people coming in. But that was what I was hoping to do.
Maybe this is a better question for the program committee, but I'd just like to put it out there that, that the decision that was made long ago to not allow programming between 10 and 12 and 2 and 5, the reasons for that have long been non-existent. And it might be a situation where someone might be willing to do a cooking show at 11 o'clock in the morning or something like that, and we might be able to attract some people that we couldn't attract if available.
Yes, indeed.
So we do have those slots open 10 to 12?
Well, it has not been decided to open them, but I'm putting it out there.
Yeah.
Suggestion.
I would also like to make suggestions here that since Janelle topped on that, is that I'm personally looking for someone in the Hispanic community who can represent themselves.
Going back to Kit, I have some objections to opening up some of those time frames, because it does allow certain set times, but if someone does need to come into the studio and do something, it leaves those times open that they can do that.
Yeah,
That is a good point, good point. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for instance, I've been using a lot of that time to work on bridge banks.
That's a good one.
Well, maybe certain days can be picked, like, maybe one day.
Yeah, just as long as it's not filled up all week.
But maybe Mondays or Fridays, those could get one of the
We'll probably try and stick initially with our priority of prime time type slots, because those really need to be filled. And morning shows. Morning shows are very important. They need to get filled again.
But there are some other noon shows still available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Morning, noon,
Wednesday,
early.
yeah, that's true.
Is there priority given to existing DJs to make
Yes.
changes before a new DJ gets it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. Definitely, they would be trained. They would be trained. Okay, budget.
No, I don't have a budget. I understand that there was a budget made for this year by Nancy Jo that said that it was a $12,000 budget. That budget was made with an entirely different plan in mind and is not relevant to what our needs are here. What I can tell you is the profit and loss, and I've printed the detail of it, and we can pass this around and look at it. I would normally do this after June 30th, but since you're having a meeting tonight, I did it today. Shows that you have a loss so far this year of $2,632. That simply means that's how much more you spent than what you brought in. But the way income comes in with fundraisers and so forth, it was much bigger before the Strawberry Festival, that negative figure. And then you'll have another fundraiser, and you'll bring that up with fundraisers and get yourself in a positive place. But I don't think with the total amounts that we're looking at here, that we're looking at a $12,000 budget this year. However, in the church, what we do is we review the budget. We do it in January you pay and so forth, but in terms of what your projections are for the fundraising.
Can I ask you, how much does it cost to keep the station open per year?
Well, that's basically what I'm saying. This year, okay, your expenses have been $5,200.
And that's been for 6 months.
For 6 months, 5,200?
Yeah.
So it means for $10,000, maybe $12,000 is not such a
Maybe
bad.
it's not so far.
And that's just the bare minimum cost of,
Yeah.
Well, it's the cost,
Utilities.
let me see. Yeah, the utility, the ASCAP, BMI, CSAC, office supplies, post office box annual fee, publicity, web services, Comcast, telephone, volunteer expenses, just
it was on,
Underwriters that we were using a lot before, and I don't know where we are with underwriters. That's something we need to think about, because that was a big draw, because that was money in lump. And I know we still have a few, but I don't know which ones we still have.
Okay, we still have, I guess we don't. Okay, we gotta check, we're still getting the Kaleidoscape from Main Street Station. Twice as nice for Touch, Thursday Touch. Riverbed Yoga for Tuesday Touch. And that's it.
so, the underwriting, is that, the station would prefer to receive that money by the month? Is that?
I think it's billed by the quarter.
By the quarter, yeah, I go to Main Street Station once every 3 months and ask them for $180.
Okay, because I have an underwriter for what would have been the last quarter before the vacation, so I guess when the kids go back to school, then I go back and get another check.
So, Don, process of underwriting that, that we've gone through, we had underwriters a time or two on our show, and they went for a month or two, but they usually signed up for just 1 month. The business is being what they wanted to experiment with things. So quarterly, would be the ideal, but darling, at that time, was taking month to month.
If they wanted to, yeah.
So we need a,
So that option should maybe remain open.
so we need an underwriter chairperson then.
That's originally was what was.
I'm sitting on that, but not actively.
That's in charge.
As we get new programs coming on now, we can push that more, because we've got people that are
Do they understand what we're
younger and more technical. They'll go up and
They
get.
need to explain it to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but not right now. Yeah, okay, but I will, yeah.
Well, people just, I think, we have new people here, they're simply, what it is not advertising, but what it is someone can underwrite, a business or a person can underwrite a show by paying so much money, and they negotiate different rates. And for that, they are mentioned on the air during that show that they are sponsoring. They will say this show is made available in part by contribution from Main Street Station or something like that.
There was a certain amount that Darlene had, I didn't know if
$15 an hour right now.
$60 a month.
Yeah, for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
It's basically $50 for 1 hour.
What about events, though? What if somebody wants to talk about their event and pop in?
It was just one week.
Buy a week, as it will? Talk about their shows? It's underwrite for a week and pay an additional.
Well, you're trending into advertising there, and that's what you're not supposed to do.
They can always get a community calendar.
But for that, you can be a support, for their event, if it's for our events, yes, but for their event, that's just out now, just like advertising.
Yes.
Unless it's a regular, some places have a series of events, so, I would imagine, is it the Guerneville Chamber of Commerce or Vernon Hernandez that sponsors